This video will discuss chapter 1010, squares and square roots. So I want to talk about the idea of a square root. Right? So this is kind of the opposite of a square. So if you think of square as like something to the second power, this is what number to the second power equals 9. Right? Or what number times itself equals 9, and that number would be 3. Right? 3 times 3 equals 9. Now this is negative square root of 64. And so remember, this square root works as an exponent. And so if you think about the order of operation, which is PEMDAS, the E is second, and the E is first, and the M would be second. So I'm going to first use the exponent and then multiply. And remember that this is a 1 here, so it's going to be multiply times negative 1. So what number times itself equals 64? That would be 8. And then I got to multiply 8 times negative 1, and so that is negative 8. So negative square root of 64 is negative 8. Now this sign is plus or minus, and so that plus or minus is going to go in front, and so this plus or minus the square root of 2, what number times, square root of 4, what number times itself equals 4, kind of already said it, and that's 2, so that's plus or minus 2. And then this is the one that doesn't have an answer, and that's because what number times itself equals negative 81. And a lot of people say negative 9, but negative 9 times negative 9 does not equal negative 81. Negative 9 times negative 9 equals positive 81, just like 9 times 9 equals 81. So the square root of 81, there is no, or square root of negative 81, there is no answer. So the key thing is to notice the difference between this problem and this problem, where the negative is on the outside. And so it's first the square root of 64 and then multiplied by negative 1, whereas on this one, the negative is on the inside of the radical, right, the square root sign, and so this one does not have an answer. All right, now let's talk about how to estimate. So I want to try to solve these problems without necessarily using a calculator, and so I know that the square root of 18 is going to be, and I want to think about a number that's close to 18. So I know that 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16, 5 squared is 25, and so I know that this negative 18 is somewhere between 16 and 25, and I know that it's going to be closer to the 16, so this is going to be approximately negative 4 point, I don't know, what do you want to guess, 1 or 2, something like that, because it's got to be close to 16. It's definitely not at the halfway point. Right, so it's before the halfway point, so it's not 4.5, so it's got to be somewhere like negative 4.2, negative 4.3. And you can take a calculator and find out, what it actually is. But again, what we're looking to try to do now is estimate. And so this is going to be approximately, and so I know that the square root of 64 is 8, right? And then the square root of 81 is 9, so I know this number is going to be between 8 and 9. I also know it's going to be much closer to the 8 than it is to the 9, so again, this might be 8 point, same ideas, 8.2, 8.3, maybe you even go 8.1. Okay, but it's going to be approximately, so as we're guessing, we know it's between 8 and 9. So that's really what we're kind of focusing on in this, and again, you can use a calculator to get the exact number, but if I want to estimate, I know that this is square root of 25 is 5, and I know that the square root of 36 is 6, right? And this 33 is closer to the 6 than it is to the 5, but it is close to that halfway point. Right? The halfway point would be, 31 and a half, so it's a little bit more, so this might be approximately 5.7, we could say. And then this 60, square root of 49, and that's 7. Square root of 64 is 8. This is obviously much closer to the 8, or the 64, than it is to the 49. So this is going to be, it's going to be 7, but it might be like 7.7, 7.8, something like that. And the same thing down here. Square root of, let's see, 36 would be 6 squared. Square root of 49 would be 7 squared, and this is going to be a little bit more than 6, not at the halfway point, right? Because the halfway point, where the halfway point would be, 40 would be less than that, so this would have to be let's say 3, 6.4, something like that. Okay, so again, what we're doing is a lot of estimating using these square roots to try to figure out what it might be between. Okay, and so we're going to try not to use our calculator too much on this. We're going to try to just use estimation as a way of guessing approximately what the number might be. That's all I got for you on squares and square roots. Thanks very much for watching the video. Don't forget to do the problems on the bottom of the page. See you in class.